My topic is focused on organic SEO strategies to increase your traffic. And I don't think anybody in here would complain about getting more traffic, right? We all want motivated leads. So I actually want to just dive into 3 what I'm calling simple strategies of SEO. These are not super intricate, and they're very friendly in the sense that from my presentation today, my entire goal for you is that you can take notes and then you could turn around and implement this straight into your business immediately. So I want you to be an action taker, take notes today, and go for it. Just take what I'm going to share with you and put it into your business and do your best with it. Okay, so we're going to dive into strategy 1 here. So we're completely focused on how to have an active online presence that will eventually boost your SEO. So something a lot of business owners will come to me and say is they're like, I got listed on Google, I'm active with content, and I just don't understand. My people are not finding my business. Why aren't they finding my business? And I many times just pause them and I'm just like, okay, let's take a step back. Think about Google. Google, its number 1 priority is to serve its searcher. And I want you to think about that for a second. Just step out of being a business owner and think about what is your searcher, your customer actually putting into Google. And this is actually one of the techniques that is the best way to figure out how you can appeal to your audience. So this is kind of a silly example, but I always tell people, I'm like, think of yourself as like you just recently went to this amazing taco restaurant and you want to go back, but you forgot the name, right? So you go to Google, you type in tacos near me, and all of a sudden flower shops pop up. And I don't know about you, but if that happened to me, I'd be really annoyed and frustrated. I'd be like, Google, why aren't you serving me? Like, come on, like this is your job. Like you're supposed to provide me what I'm looking for. So I want you to think about that from Google's angle. They're all about, how fast can they serve their audience and their user. The faster they can serve them, the happier their users are, and the more people are coming back to Google to actually use it and have good experiences, right? So before I dive into anything else here, I want to get a 1 in the chat if you currently have a Google business profile, just even if you list it and never used it. And then I want to get a number 2 in here if you don't have one at all or if you've never even heard of it. So 1 if you have one, 2 if you do not. I will give you guys a couple seconds to put that in. All right. So I'm seeing a lot of, I think, more 2s. All right. And that's okay. We're going to actually talk more about that. Okay. So for those of you that do have a Google business profile, I want to ask you if you actively used your profile or did you just, set it up one day and then you've never touched it since? So the crazy thing about Google is like I mentioned before, they're all about they're serving their searcher the fastest they can. Okay. So if you are not active on Google and you have data that is broken, let's just say, Michael mentioned that the site he was showing you, the phone number wasn't working. That's like a huge no-no. I was actually cracking up. I'm like, no, that's not okay. Because Google actually penalizes businesses that have inactive data or inaccurate data. And the reason for that is they basically have all their algorithms that, scurry around and they're trying to figure out, is this business legitimate? Like, are they actually in business? Or are they just, maybe just trying to spam people? Are they really going to serve people? So I want you to think about that from Google's perspective. The reason they don't push you is because if you're not active, they see you as a dormant business or one that's not legitimately out there to serve its customers and its searchers. So I kind of picked a little bit on on Kroger here. So Kroger's is a chain grocery store in local to Cincinnati and different states. I know everybody has different chain ones, but the reason I shared this one is because they have their floral department listed on Google. However, they don't use it at all. It's literally just dormant. And the reason this is such a good example is because if they actually got reviews on here, put up content and updates, they put on coupons and promotions, I could probably guarantee you that this would dominate all the local floral shops in their area. It's simply because they already have such a strong presence. And if they were active, oh my gosh, it'd be crazy. They would thrive with that. Now, they clearly have chosen not to do that. This is why it's an example of what not to do. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over a few quick benefits of why it's so important to be active. So first off, Google Business Profile is completely free, guys. Like if you are not listed, like there's no reason not to do it. Like don't let anything discourage you or hold you back. So it gives you a chance to showcase what you do, to actually display coupons and hour changes, maybe business updates that you want to share. You can actually share and list an unlimited amount of photos on there. You should be posting pictures of you and your business, even if it's just simple stuff, guys. These don't have to be like professional or anything. And then the most important thing is that you are gaining reviews. And I always tell people, think of reviews as just that opportunity to show new customers that you have a really good service and that you actually care about your customers. I listed this company as an example here because they have over 3,000 Google reviews and they have an average of 4.8 stars. That is literally amazing. That is probably the best you can do, right below 5 stars, obviously. And I just think that's awesome because if I was looking for their service, if I was on Google, Googling for something similar to them and they came up, more than likely I'm going to read those reviews and I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to take a chance on these people. This is really awesome. They clearly work with a lot of clients and they do a great job. And then Google, so we kind of already talked about this, but Google's going to weed out the active businesses from the dormant businesses. I'll talk more about this in a few minutes, but 2023 is especially the year more and more technology is coming out and it's creating more competition, okay? So it's so incredibly important, even if it's just simple updates, guys, like just be active. It's just that simple. Okay, so you all might be familiar with this. So this Two Chicks and a Hammer is a show on HGTV. They're local to Indiana, and the reason I had to pull this up is kind of for two reasons. I really want you guys to focus on the reviews here. So if you look to the far right screenshot there of the Two Chicks District Co., they have a bunch of Google reviews, and from what I could see on my end, they actually engaged with those reviews, which is really awesome. That's exactly how it should be. But then on the one on the far left here, the Two Chicks and the Hammer, I had to point this one out because this person had to get on here and say something kind of negative. Now, this is not the meanest negative review that I have ever seen. Like there's way worse out there. But the reason I wanted to point this out is because I want you to think about potential customers, especially if they are unsatisfied with your service or your product or your business in any way. I will say that the ones that are most unhappy are the most eager to go share it with the world. Okay. So, not that I'm telling you that you can stop this, because there's no way. You're going to get people that just are cranky and they're going to take it out on somebody. Okay. But the reason I pointed out is because if you engage back, if you were to write back, and they did not on this one, but if they were to write back to this negative review, they very easily could have been like, hey, so-and-so, I am so sorry that you had such a tough experience. How can I make this better? Maybe offer a coupon, maybe, different things that could maybe help ease the tension there. Now, in the investor situation, that's not always the case. You can't just like slap a coupon onto an unhappy customer and call it a day. Like, it's one of those situations where you just have to write them back and say, I'm so sorry that you felt so dissatisfied. I'd love to have a conversation with you of how I can do better in the future. Just be honest with them and work on making your customer service and your product and your consumers experience even stronger. Okay, so this is circling back to our Google business profile again. So um, this was this is funny because this is actually a laundromat in New York, which I think they do a great job of explaining. They're a great example for Google Business Updates. So Google Business Updates, short like explanation of them is you get on there, you can share a picture and you can share a quick update. It can be literally about anything. I think the cap is 350 characters. So it's not very long at all. So don't feel like this is like a blog post. This is just like you're sharing a piece of content with them. Now, Celsius actually just kind of went along like the hour and holiday change. Prior to this, I couldn't capture this in the screenshot, but they talked a lot about COVID. They actually blew up and grew exponentially during COVID because they created one of the most safest environments in New York City, which was, I feel like, just kind of a crazy city to be in during that time anyway. And they created this safe experience and people loved them. They appreciated them so much and they grew so much out of that situation. So again, like you don't have to share about your hours. You could be sharing just a quick picture of your team and saying, we just went driving for dollars, or not driving for dollars, but we just did this promotion and this, and we're offering, this, whatever it might be. Okay, so this is also just a quick snapshot of how it works. You plug your picture in, add your description, and then add your update. It's a again, free tool, super easy to use, guys. And I'm going to show you how to take it a little step further in just a little bit. So really quick, a quick snapshot of what we just walked through is just be consistent. Be active and consistent on your Google business profile. Make sure you have accurate information when it comes to your phone number and your address, because remember, you will be penalized if they are not. A little side note with the address, I do not recommend using your home address. If you don't have an office location, just go out and get a PO box for that, okay? It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I'm so sorry. My computer's sending me messages. Okay, make sure you review the reviews that you do receive and engage with customers when you get those in, good or bad. Be quick about it. Don't take 3 days to respond to something. Try to be as fast as you can. Another note is to make sure that your branding is listed and it's consistent, your name is consistent, and your category is consistent. I point these out because for example, if your name of your business is ABC Plumbing, okay, and you list on Google ABC Plumbing like a bunch, and then all of a sudden you decide to change it and you're Plumbing 123 now, okay, and you start to put that, you're going to make Google go, wait a second, they're not being consistent. There's something wrong here. We shouldn't promote them. And they instantly just hands off. Like we're not gonna push this any longer. So you got to make sure you're consistent. Pick a category, pick a name, pick a brand. This is why it's so important. Like Michael was sharing with the website, your colors and everything. When you go through the process of choosing that, make sure you're happy, because across all platforms, not just Google, but social media too, you want to be as consistent as you possibly can for long term. And then we're going to talk more about this here in a few minutes, but you want to just make sure you are driving to an SEO and keyword optimized website, just like Michael mentioned earlier. Like you've got to make sure you have all these pieces in a row if you expect to have organic, motivated leads knocking at your door and sending you emails and sending you texts. Like, if you want that to happen, you have to line up all these pieces. All right, so the next piece to this puzzle, I mean to say, when it comes to boosting your SEO and your online presence is to get listed with online listings. I used Yelp as an example here because I feel like most people have heard of them. But think of this as just like online listings are basically different companies that offer just to share your business information. So usually it's like a short description about your business, your phone number, website, and address. And all these little accumulations of these online listings basically help Google to see you and to legitimize your business and to say, oh, hey, wow, look, they're not just listed on Google Business Profile. They're also on 50 other listings. Okay, they must be really active. Now, if you also are able to engage people on those other listings, which is not always the case because every single one is completely different. So don't feel like you're pressured to do that. Google's obviously the one you want to focus on the most. And all of these just help to, again, help you push higher when you're ranking for SEO. And when people are searching for you, you're going to pop up faster. So here's just a quick snapshot of some other companies that do offer the online listings. And then just a quick point is just make sure you're picking the ones that are relevant to you. Okay. Don't go on here and like, as an investor, sign up with Uber. Okay. Because that literally doesn't make sense for your business. And that's not going to benefit your business in any way. And then this is just the quick checklist for the listings, guys. Like this one's really not that hard. It's just kind of a little bit time consuming if you do choose to do it manually by yourself. But just make sure they're relevant, have working phone number, accurate address, same name across all of those listings, okay? And just make sure your description and your category is the same across the board. I know, just a little side note, I know some of the listings don't offer the same categories, but just do your best to pick the most relevant one to your business, okay? All right, and that ends out strategy number 1. So we're going to jump into strategy number 2 here. All right, so we're all about this. This strategy is all about how to boost your organic growth. This one's actually my favorite. Okay, so Michael actually jumped into keywords with you guys when it comes to your business. But what I kind of want to explain deeper about them is keywords can be on all of your content, okay? It can be on your website. It can be on the blogs you share on your website. It can be on your Google Business Profile, and it can be on your social media. If you are doing that in unison and you are providing keyword efficient content across all those platforms, you will drive up your SEO. You will rank higher faster. It is easy to feel kind of discouraged and overwhelmed. Like, whoa, you expect me to do all of that? Like, no, don't think of it as super regiment. And we're going to talk more about how you can just knock these down into bite-sized chunks, not such big, giant tasks and projects. Because I get it. You guys are experts in your business and you need to be doing what you do best, not worrying about, writing your next blog or focused on stressing about what keywords you need to precisely be using all the time. Okay. But this brings me to, so with the keywords, this just brings me to like how to make searchable content. And it really is just using keywords through all of your content. I think it was Jesse in the comments earlier asked about a free tool. And yes, Michael briefly answered that. And Google is really the best free tool to use if you do not have a Google Ads account. and you set one up, you can get right into it and actually look at all the ranking keywords right in your area. It's actually really easy to use. And this is actually where I pulled these examples from. That's what I mentioned in the comments, that I would kind of show you guys a little bit more. So we're going to dive into a deeper example of keywords here. So I ran this one for plumbers. Now, this is not for plumbers based in the United States. This was just for my local state of Ohio. Okay, so that's why if you notice like the second column here, it says average monthly searches. That's why it's kind of lower. But if you look in the first column, this says keywords by relevance. So this is just like the top keywords I typed in. I think I typed in plumbers near me, and these are the top keywords that came up. Okay, and then the second section here is just how many people are typing these specific keyword phrases in to find plumbers near them. Give me a little fire emoji if that makes sense, because that's confusing for a lot of people when I explain it. Go ahead and throw some fires in there if that makes sense, and if you guys are up to speed with me. Everyone's very quiet. Again, fire emojis if the keywords make sense to you guys. Okay, I got one fire. Thank you, Todd. Maybe he's my only listener. I've bored everyone else to death and they've left my talk. Oh, Brian has two. Okay, great. I have two people. That's all that matters, you know? All right, you guys aren't going to want to miss the next section. That's why I'm kind of trying to wake y'all up. Okay, Walter and Frank, thank you so much. Good, I've got more. Oh no, you're totally good. Okay. All right, next slide, guys, because this is for investors. All right, a lot of us in the room are either a real estate investor, real estate agent, and we had a few people sign up that just have home industry businesses, and they still wanted to come to this event, which is awesome. All right. Okay, so these are the keyword examples I pulled for investors. All right, so I'm going to break this down again. I see that Pamela says, can you repeat that? So what I did is I went into Google. Okay, I set up a Google Ads account and I used their free keyword tool inside of there. All right, column 1 here, I put in at the top. You would see it if you use the tool, but I don't have that shared here. I typed in investors near me, or I typed in, sorry about that. I did not type that in. I typed in sell my house fast. That's what I typed in, okay? And these are the relevant keywords in column number 1 here. You see all the relevant key phrases that came up because I typed that in. So in my area, if you look at column number 2, the average monthly of searches for that led me to these keywords. So the reason this is so important though, guys, is because if you are using these key phrases, okay, on your website, inside of your content, on your Google business profile, it's going to boost your SEO, all right? The more you boost your SEO, the faster organic leads are going to find you. Okay, so I built this specifically for this example. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. Keywords can be super intricate or they can be super simple. Okay, so this, I would say this example is probably more on the simple side. It's not super detailed, but it has enough in it for you guys to learn from this one. Okay, so on the left in that little box with the little circles, those are all the key phrases that came up relevant to my area, okay, in Ohio. The reason I keep saying that in Ohio is because if you were to get on there and search for keywords in the United States or in Texas or in Florida or North Carolina, it's going to look totally different. All right. So in the blue, if you look at my little paragraph that I put together for this example, The blue is considered a phrase keyword. So this means if I'm going to Google and I'm searching and I say, and this is kind of a cheesy example, but I need someone to buy my house. Okay. Potentially this top one in the blue, the first blue highlighted example, is going to help me to rank for the person who searched that. Okay. If I type into Google as a searcher, sell my house fast for cash. Okay. You see the pink one? The first pink example is going to help me rank higher. Okay. Let me know if that makes sense, guys, because sometimes I explain this and people are like, I totally got you. You don't have to say more. And then other people are just like, can you repeat that? Because I totally am trying to take notes and I feel like I missed what you said. So give me some kind of feedback because we're going to dive into our next thing. Okay. I see it makes total sense. Awesome. Okay, so we talked about keywords. Now let's talk about the copy that you're going to put those keywords into. So that copy is going to go on your website and all the other content you create. So I created this fun little graphic here. So just because sometimes visuals just help to drive things home. So if you create a piece of content, let's just say, for example, you're writing blogs for your website. Okay, you write a weekly blog. Okay, so you're going to write that blog and you're going to repurpose it, and you're going to take that repurposing and use it, let's say, on your Google business profile. And then you're going to use that to get your customers or people to engage with you, maybe also on social media. And that in turn, over time, if you're just repeating that cycle, you're going to gain authority as a local expert in your market, which we're going to talk more about in just a second. So all the time people are just like, is social media really that important? Like, I don't want to be on social media. I hate social media. Yes, it's really that important. Seamus, I literally went back into my slides last night and put this quote in there because Seamus said this yesterday. I thought this just hit the nail on the head. He said, social media is the new credit score, and he's 100% right. I loved that line because we are to this day and age that if somebody finds your business on Google, you better bet that they're going to go straight to their Instagram and they're going to look you up. Or they're going to go straight to their Facebook and they're going to look you up, or LinkedIn. Why? They want to see what kind of person you actually are. So if you're consistently sharing content, and yeah, you can post about your kids and, your family vacations and like life stuff, but you need to be demonstrating that you are a consistent business owner and demonstrate and show what you do. This is something that is one of my personal goals for 2023. Like I never saw like a reason for me as a mom to be on there and to have to share about my business. And the more I've pushed myself to do it, I have had people, I'm not even exaggerating, contact me weekly, asking me what's up, what's going on in my life. They're just curious and they want to learn more. And I think that's a really awesome just perspective to have as, you keep building content. Just be confident with that. Okay. So SEOing photos. So Michael kind of mentioned just the benefits about the different ways you could SEO, especially on websites. So SEOing your photos is kind of a two-way street. So I'll explain the website example in a few slides here, but this one really, I want you to make sure you are doing this practice. This is one of the best tricks in the book when it comes to boosting your Google business profile. Okay, so first and foremost, like I mentioned before, have a great brand and a logo for your business. You also need to make sure that you have a cover photo listed on your Google business profile. The reason is so many people hit businesses in their maps and they need to see a really good image. So many times when I'm looking at businesses, the picture that they selected for their maps photo is very cheesy. And I'm just like, okay, this could probably be a little better. Like I can't actually see that guy's head because all I can see is his mouth because it got cut off. So you need to just like take that into consideration. Again, not rocket science, not professional photos, but needs to look good. You need to make sure that they're not any bigger than 5 megabytes, okay? But more than that, unless you're posting like custom graphics that you're building, just a normal picture from your camera will do just fine. The other quick strategy is making sure that your location sharing for your phone is actually turned on, because those will automatically embed into the pictures and geotag your photos. So when you post them on to Google Business Profile and you share an update, it will automatically help to boost the location. So if you're sharing for investors local to Cincinnati, then bam, when I automatically upload, it automatically is built in. And then the most important piece is to name your photos correctly. Okay. So like I said, you want to be consistent with your name. So if you look at example number 2 here, it says Smith Investment Group. And I'm sorry because it's actually blocked on my screen. I think it says John Smith, Tennessee real estate investor. Okay. So, oh, thank you. I think Michael just moved that, or I did by my mouse. So yeah, just make sure you're naming your photos correctly. And then again, you're uploading those right to your Google Business Profile. I put this stat on here because it's straight from Google, and it just points out again, 42% more requests come from profiles with photos. So photos are key, and they don't have to be anything super special. Okay, now back to that website example when it comes to pictures. So inside of your website builder, so I still recommend saving your photos properly named. Okay, so that's step number 1, which that would show up here. This is just a basic example. So where the first arrow is on the example, that's where that would go. And then where the second arrow is actually the alt text. Now in this area, oh God, I'm flip. You actually want to make sure you're adding keywords to the alt text. Okay, not a ton of keywords, but you can probably get away with 2 different keywords. All right, so just maybe write that down, because that's something you want to make sure you're doing as you are going through your website. And then the rest, the same example is pretty much the same as what I just shared before. All right, and that leads me to the third strategy. I hope this is all making sense and good. Thank you, Lance. Michael's giving me a thumbs up. All right, number 3, guys, become the local expert in your area. I would say that we all, and we all have the goal to be the local expert, right? Like Michael shared with you guys earlier, when we were building our fitness business, we did a ton of SEO strategy. And at first I was like, this is crazy. What? This is never going to work. And I am not even kidding you. We received organic leads month after month. And still to this day, even though I am literally not active in anything, we still receive organic leads. And it's just so crazy awesome how that works. So I touched on this a little bit earlier, but in 2023, SEO will look different, okay? As you know, ChatGPT has been released. AI is becoming a brand new introduction into the market. When it comes to marketing your business, this is going to be a thing, guys. This is going to be, this is the wave of the future, okay? Back when we were looking at, iPhone development and Apple and all those products, and if you look back just 10 years from where they were to where they are, it looks completely different. This is that next level of tech inside of our world. Now, something I just want to touch on is, okay, there's so many people pushing for you to get involved into AI, and AI is a wonderful thing if you have real life people actually working in unison with the AI. The reason I say that is because you guys are all experts. You know what your customer wants. You know what your business can do and how you can satisfy your customers. AI doesn't have feelings. AI doesn't know that. And so when it writes, it just writes like from the state of factual evidence. And you guys just don't be discouraged by this movement. In fact, just accept it. And I just keep telling people, keep creating the content that sets you apart because Google is aware. And while there aren't stipulations right this second, there will be very quickly, very quickly. They will just start cracking down on the people who are launching 50 blog posts a week. And they're like 100% AI generated because Google can see that. They know, and they have their algorithms in place for a reason. My final thing just to leave you with, just for that thought, is Michael said this to me not that long ago, and I just thought it was like a great example. And he kept saying, like, if Google wanted a robot to write the internet, it would have been done. So guys, don't be discouraged by the AI wave of the future. Instead, just keep creating the content that you're really good at. Okay, so if we're talking about becoming that local expert, I want to talk to you guys about 5 fast ways to repurpose your content. I kind of showed you this with those arrows, but pick a big piece of content. I always tell people to start with the writing stuff because I feel like it sometimes is the hardest. Start with the big piece of content, take that big piece, put it in the little chunks, get different photos to educate people with those tips from that big piece of content. Then turn around, make videos about it, put it on social media, and then just keep repurposing that content in different unique ways. Okay, it's that simple. Like, if you guys just really can master this one thing out of today, like, and just be consistent and repurpose and just keep going forward with your content, you're going to do great things. You will be ranking in SEO before you know it. And then last thing, we already touched on this stuff, guys, but I just want to circle back to it. Engage with those reviews when you receive them on Google. Respond super fast to new leads. Like Michael mentioned already, like he shared the stats of how fast people drop off when it comes to how fast, like, you as a business owner respond to your new leads. Like, it's a really big deal. Make sure you're doing testimonials, sharing pictures and videos, and then just stay consistent. And then last thing, just the final thought to remember is make your business long-term. Don't do this for like $1 million fast cash goal. Make this about what do you want your business to look like in the next 5 years? If you can answer that question and just really instill that into yourself and into your business, you are going to do great things. You will grow. It may not feel so, fast and instantaneous, but it will grow over time and you will do a great job.